Hello friends and followers, this is UFO case number 23, 8th of December 2017. I hope you've been well since the last episode. It has been a long month with my mum having a heart attack and being in hospital, and she's now back home and recuperating. Hopefully she gets better. And so this UFO case is going to be covering the topic of a massive thing entering the atmosphere. It was featured on several YouTube channels and also press releases on websites and newspapers. BPEarthWatch seems to be the first YouTube channel to release the speculation that the meteorite monitoring station had picked up massive object entering the Earth's atmosphere and said it couldn't be any false positive. And I have looked at the information from various experts, and I will see if this is the case in this investigation. Note also, this UFO case totally blows flat Earth out of the water. It relies on mathematics and the right curvature of the Earth and radio signals propagation. There's a lot of science involved, and flat Earth is non-science. Now you can see they talk about using radio RF signals called VHF, very high frequencies, and they bounce it off a E layer in the atmosphere, and they can reflect back from ionized trails left by meteorites, and also can be used for tracking aircraft and also satellites, and they're able to distinguish between the different objects, but it's not foolproof and it has problems, and we'll cover that soon. First of all, we need to check out these sites making these claims on the Google search to see what their reputations are like, whether they admit they were wrong and correct the information and don't use clickbait thumbnails and titles. And this is the information I found on BPEarthWatch, and as you can see already, there's a lot of people claiming they are fraud, scaremongering, exaggeration, not being scientific, and all sorts of other haters. So the reputation there is not looking terribly great at the moment, and the main person making complaints about the channel is our famous Dazza the cameraman, who is a real scientist in the heavens using his telescope and cameras, and debunks most of the Planet X claims, and he's also from New Zealand. And also he has debunked Security 10, as you well probably know if you've been following my channel. As you can read, BPEarthWatch made these claims that the CERN project would destroy the Earth in its atmosphere, and they replied saying that's not possible, and says a normal solar burst produces far more energy than the accelerator does in Earth's atmosphere, and the sun doesn't destroy the Earth's atmosphere, so why should the accelerator? And of course, searching the internet, we can find a lot of information about Security 10 and how he's been caught out. And here's some interesting replies you can read above. I first of all looked at the regular users commenting on the articles and videos, and here's some of the good ones. There's one saying that it could be interference from another station, and the other person saying it's probably North Korea testing missiles. And another one saying it's ionization from the HARP, which is on the cards. Not far-fetched. but I think I have found a better answer to the solution, and it's not ETs visiting Earth in this case. And here's another user on the actual live meteorite site comment section saying that planes, pollution and also volcanic activity can cause false readings as well. Now if we have a look, recently we've had a volcano exploding in Indonesia, Bali, and depending if it can get up to layer E in the ionization band, volcanic ash can cause pockets of clouds circulating the globe that can cause this kind of false positive reading of something entering the atmosphere. Here is a map currently of the eruption and where the pollution's circulating, and it's mostly around Asia and South America and Africa. Of course this may not be the solution, but I have some other information here to present. Of course, having a look at the comments, people have posted snapshots of these big events happening, and they go back 2 years on this live meteorite site. Now that's not the only site that monitors meteorite activity, but it's one of the ones that were mentioned in the videos. Now someone mentioned that these regular bursts happen at regular intervals, and I think that might be the key to the clue to solving this. Now these tube channels said it couldn't be this false positive because it's winter and not summer, and it reads as follows: if you see and hear sometimes a strong continuous signal that runs for more than a minute or so, that is unlikely to be a meteorite echo. VHF radio waves are sometimes affected by an unusual form of isosphere propagation called sporadic-E. During this event, which can last hours or even days, the radio signal orientating from the distant station is reflected by the ionosphere, and meteorite echoes are impossible to be detected. Sporadic-E is specific to summer season in northern hemisphere. So I started looking into sporadic-E layer and what it is, and seeing what blogs, forums and scientific papers have been written about it, and this is the results. Also there's articles here talking about past volcanic activity and how it affected the VHF propagation, and also they're talking about how it happens in certain parts of the day, and more than one site has talked about this. And this report here that I read out, I think solves the problem completely and gives us the solution. The appearance of sporadic-E is related not only to time of day and to season, but to geographic location. Researchers have identified 5 distinct geographic zones of sporadic-E occurrence based primarily on seasonal and hourly characteristics. These zones are shown in Figure 1. Within the northern temperature zone, sporadic-E may appear at any time, but long-term observations have shown that it occurs more often from mid-May to mid-August than any other months, followed by a less predictive period from mid-December to mid-January. Mid-latitude sporadic-E also occurs most often from 0800 to 1200 and 1900 to 2300 local time, regardless of the season. So there's the solution. Sporadic-E can happen anytime, but it happens more often in summer and also certain time ranges. And also it talks about December to mid-January, so it's not unusual to see it happening in this month when these channels have reported on this large massive object, which is obviously a false positive. So there's the solution. And look here on Security's sample here, it's right after 1900 in that range they talk about. So there you go, that's why it happened. Of course they're still debating what causes it in the atmosphere, and they reckon it might be wind shear. And the wind shear creates these trapped pockets of ionization that drift through the atmosphere, and the VHF bounces off it. Here's an interesting report saying that meteorite showers happen regularly. You might get 10 to 30 entering the atmosphere, obviously in groups, and they can last up for minutes at a time. And it talks about thousands of meteorites happened in 1966, and you would have thousands go through the sky in a 10 to 15 minute period, continuous period. And the guy said it was like raining meteorites, and quite surreal and scary. So I hope you liked that little UFO case report, and hit the like button on the way out, and share it on your social medias and spread the word. And have a good weekend, everybody, and I'll see you again next episode.